Hey guys, and welcome to one of the first of many videos that we intend to put out on this channel. This one is going to be about the most recent patches that have come out, 7.24 and 7.24b. The one that we're going to not really be talking about as much is 7.24, just because at this point it's almost 2 weeks old now.
Yeah.
It came out on December 6th. Today is the 17th. And then 7.24 came out on December 14th. Which is actually kind of cool how they did it to where it was like a micro patch.
Yeah.
And there wasn't like any maintenance time or anything like that. They kind of shoved it out so that the game could change at least a little bit before the first patch of the new year. So there's not as an extended period of time where the game is just the same, and you know, the things that are broken don't get changed and the things that are weak don't get buffed. So they said that patch 7.24's main focus was on buffing like certain champions who didn't really get a good keystone in the Runes Reforged redo, and nerfing those who can like really abuse like the good keystones. So mainly stuff that I wanted to point out was like the Ezreal Q ratio nerf. You know, Ezreal's super popular, just of course how he just abuses Klepto.
Yeah. I mean, even when he doesn't take Klepto, like I've seen Ezreal's, you can go like sometimes like Comet, and still be really effective.
Yeah.
He's just in this meta a really strong champion in general.
Leona W damage nerf happened in 7.24. You know, she's getting hit a lot because Aftershock is just like made for Leona.
Yeah. And
Aftershock's such a good resolve keystone. The Ornn nerfs, which, you know,
needed.
Very much needed, but didn't really seem like
enough.
Yeah. You know, it was what, like, I think it was like 2% off of the max health damage, and then
like a second off the cooldown.
A couple seconds off or added to the cooldown.
Yeah.
He's still going to be impossible to trade into. He's still going to be top tier.
He's banned in most games. He's like one of those pick or ban champions, and he has been for a while.
Yeah, they hit Zoe Z at 7.24. Zoe is a very, I wouldn't even say polarizing, because I feel like most people just straight up hate her.
Yeah.
Polarizing champion. You know, she was picked or banned like 100% at All Stars, right?
Yeah, like every game.
And her kit just seems so overloaded, especially the E, which is why I'm glad that they hit the E. You know, it gains distance over walls. If you miss it, it lands on the ground and sits there as a trap. You get the insane like burst of true damage after being woken up from the sleep. There's just so much in that ability that I think it was really smart of them to nerf that. And then they actually touched on some of the runes in that patch, like Triumph, Coup de Grace, Celerity. Those picks just seemed like they crowded out the other choices in those rows, just because you just felt like they're just too good to not take.
Especially in like trees like Precision or the Sorcery tree, because those are really prominent trees for damage dealers, and this is a really damage-centric meta.
Yeah.
So those are the most popular trees, and then you have, these like couple keystones that are just being taken on every champion.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to move on to 7.24b. Because, like I said, I don't want to spend too much time talking about 7.24 because the game has already changed since then. But 7.24b, said that they were focusing on buffing fighters who had lost Fervor Battle, and they needed a little bit of love, and just some more nerfs for like really standout champions, aka Ezreal, MF, Leona.
Yeah.
So I actually am a really big fan of the fighter buffs. I think a lot of them have just been like just fallen completely off, like they said after the removal of Fervor. So let's go down the list of a couple of the ones that were touched. Aatrox. I mean, the dude just needs a rework. The dude just needs a rework, but at least, you know, they gave him a little bit of damage.
There's like the 15 Aatrox mains that are like, please.
Yeah. They actually nerfed Jace, which I've heard is a really good thing because I heard Scar talking about it on his patch rundown video. Apparently the two main top laners that you pick in this meta are like tanks and tank killers.
Yeah.
Jace is one of the tank killers who's been like really pushing out other picks. So, cool. Kane buffs. I really like playing Kane.
Yeah,
so
same.
Awesome. Kane's been a weird champion because like when he first came out, everyone was like, blue form sucks. Only pick red form, and then they buffed his blue form a little bit, and then it was like, red form sucks. Only pick blue form. I've always wanted him to be in a good and balanced spot without being annoying, just because he's so much fun to play. So it's cool that they're buffing him a little bit. I don't think it's anything that'll push him over the edge. Just to kind of boost him up a little bit.
I've seen him play a little bit more ever since like this hit, and like it says in the thing, he had similar issues to a lot of other bruiser type champions, only because you either have like these damage heavy comms and champions that are just benefiting so much from the new runes and just putting out massive amounts of damage, and then you have the tanks who also are benefiting from the runes. So like the in between people aren't really finding like their place, but this is helping a little bit.
Kled buffs, which I've actually seen Kled do like really well in my games.
I've seen
him smash, so it's interesting that they're buffing him a little bit, but it doesn't seem like anything too big. I mean,
I feel like he doesn't get played that much. At least like, I don't see him super often.
Renekton buffs and Teemo nerfs. Ugh. Okay. Thank God. And some actually really interesting Yasuo buffs. They gave him a shit ton of magic resist growth per level, I think. I mean, it's 0.75, which adds up for sure. Actually buffed the late game base damage on his Q a good bit, and they buffed the cast range on his R, which I didn't see that coming. Neat.
I mean, I feel like all the Yasuos I've seen lately have been getting stomped no matter what lane they go into. So I mean, I guess it seems like he kind of needed that buff.
Like the magic resist really helps out. I mean, especially in both top lane and mid lane, but especially mid lane if you want to play into any AP damage. So they added 5 attack damage onto Tiamat and Titanic Hydra.
Yeah.
Again, fighter buffs, cool. And then the Giant Slayer changes and the LDR changes are weird. They made it so that the max damage threshold is when your target has 2,000 more health than you rather than 1,000. And I think their reasoning was it's going to help out fighters because tanks are the one with the most health. But I feel like fighters still build a lot of health anyways.
Yeah.
Black Cleaver and Frozen Mallet and stuff like that. I don't know. And I don't think people are really building.
I don't see it taken that often. I don't know. It seems like a really strange place to hit. But I mean, I guess that they saw specific scenarios of these items. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. And then they went and hit 2 lethality off of every lethality item, which makes sense when you look at bot lane because you have Jhin and MF who are just crushing it with the lethality builds. And then you also take a little bit of power away from AD assassins with that change as well. I mean, some of them seem like they're doing pretty well. I mean, I see, of course, a lot of Zeds. Apparently Pantheon is really oppressive, which makes sense because Pantheon's an asshole champion. So, I don't know, that's just an interesting area to kind of work around. You have these caster AD carries who are abusing the items, and then you have some assassins who are finding their place and some that are I don't really see played.
Yeah.
Speaking of MF and other bot lane champions, in this patch they hit him again.
She's another one of those champions that I see picked or banned every game.
Who?
Misfortune.
Oh yeah, for sure. They took down or they increased the cooldown on her E, especially early game. 4 seconds at level 1. That's pretty big.
Yeah.
Just makes her poke definitely less consistent.
Especially, in the early game, which is where like
great.
a lot of these lanes are being won in this meta.
The Ezreal attack speed growth nerf is kind of weird to me too. I guess they're trying to push him more towards a blue build, like with Frozen Gauntlet.
Mm-hmm. I saw that like some people thinking that maybe also they're trying to like weaken his jungle clear too.
Yeah. I don't think I see a whole lot of Ezreal
not anymore. He's like I see him AD mostly.
Yeah.
I mean, I do see the jungle every once in a while. But
and then, of course, Leona Nurse as well, taking down
she's been so strong
damage on another ability of hers. She's just super good. So like, I think it's okay to nerf her damage because her Q is still on a 6-second cooldown ever since that buff. Aftershock is still super good, and the resistances that she gets with both her W and Aftershock up at the same time.
Because like you see, like all of her nerfs are coming to her damage output, which is like not like normally when you think of Leona, you're not like, oh, she's going to go in there and
just
like,
burst you down.
Exactly,
and then she was.
Rammus he keeps getting nerfed like every patch. The past like 2 or 3 patches, which makes sense though because it's
like really snowbally.
Yeah. Especially in this huge like AD centric meta.
It just hurts his early clear so much, and that can like make or break a jungle champion. Like if your early clear is not good, and then you just get run over by like an aggressive early game jungler, sometimes you just won't get played.
Yeah.
Will that happen to Rammus? I think he's probably still gonna be played after this, and I think I have seen Rami being played. But yeah, hurts his early clear. Other than that, more sorcery path nerfs, which again makes a lot of sense. It's poke heavy meta.
Yeah,
you see that in the MF and the Jhin and the Jace and those champions. Who gets played mid lane nowadays? Decent range.
You see like a lot of there's a lot of them. I mean, Malzahar is still like pretty high priority.
Yeah. Regardless, just the path bonuses that you get from taking sorcery in general were toned down a little bit, which you were getting 15 attack damage just for taking that path with sorcery the main, like as your main path, and 13 attack damage if you were going inspiration plus sorcery. And for AD champions, like of course AD is more valuable than AP, so getting 25 ability power at level 1 for the sorcery, I mean that's a lot for sure.
Yeah,
but like the 15 attack damage for the champions who use it, it's pretty big. And they took that down a little bit, and then mana flow ban nerf,
hitting like the
sustain ability of poke champions and just being able to spam their abilities over and over again,
especially like support pokey supports.
Yeah, and I mean even like MF, Jhin, again, the more ease that you can put out as MF, the more that they'll chunk the enemy laners. Yeah, it's just it's annoying. And then they finally hit Scorch, which I think took them a little bit longer than maybe it should have. Scorch level 1 was doing just as much damage as Comet was level 1.
Yeah.
And so now that's 20 instead of 30. And it's just, again, more nerfs to pokey styles of play.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I think it was too strong. And I'm always wary of like when they just like nerf a whole kind of meta or style of play at once.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like there should always be different types of play styles, different types of comps that you can run that are all viable. And so like just taking down all of these like poke champion nerfs at the same time, what if it just ends up being like, okay, now you just don't play those champions anymore? That would be kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But
it just seems like right now, far and away, like I don't want to say the best, only because like it's what everyone's doing. So I mean, there could be like other like play styles out there.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
would really, like,
it hasn't been
counter
out for super long,
Yeah.
so there definitely could still be, especially after these nerfs, there could definitely still be new things that come out that are going to be better than the MF and the Jhin and the Leona and the Ezreal. But you know, it's nice. It's, I think, needed.
Yeah, they're just trying to like help balance the game out a little bit before everybody goes like for Christmas and before they start hitting like
Yeah.
the last patch
Yeah.
before LCS starts.
So hopefully you just don't see MF Jhin picked or banned every game, like throughout the Christmas break until they finally patch the game again.
Yeah.
And you can, you know, start playing your fighters again a little bit. Yeah, so we kind of already talked about it a little bit, but is there anything like you feel particularly strong about in this meta? Like, how do you feel about it in general? Are there any champs that you feel like are like way too strong or way too weak, or any other changes that you think should be made? There's a bunch of questions, a bunch of broad questions, but
I mean, they obviously, like, Riot sort of understands, like, the issues of the current meta. A lot of it, I feel like, obviously, like, Poke, we've already nailed that into the ground. Fighters and top lane in general was just having a really hard time. Like,
except for, like, the tanks, like, the super tanks, like Maokai, just,
yeah.
like, healing a ridiculous amount with his passive, and just, actually, I've had Maokai's carry games before, and just do, like, almost as much damage as, like, the carries. Yeah, no, I think they have a pretty good grasp on what's going on and what they should be doing. I'm excited to see what happens in the beginning of the year because, of course, they're a little bit more conservative. I mean, the amount of changes are pretty big, but like the impact, I guess, of the changes don't tend to be super huge. So. Yeah, you know, good job on these patches. Good job, Riot. Big fan. I feel like precision still needs to be changed a little bit. I feel like
The Keystone.
yeah. If we're talking about runes, just because if you're playing an AD carry, you're either taking press the attack or you're not going precision, right? Like a lot of champions. Press the attack is just by and far the best keystone for them as an AD carry, and they're still, I'm not in the precision tree. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the best keystone in precision tree by far, and they're still going Comet or Airy. So I'd like to see like fleet footwork. I mean, I know it got buffed a little bit, and maybe it's good, and we just haven't really seen it yet. And like some of the nerfs that are going on in the other trees will help bring that out. And then lethal tempo, I've just never been impressed with. Triumph still seems like a really good, generic, just general pick for almost any champion.
Especially with this like snowball-y kind of meta.
Right. And then I feel like as long as coup de grace gives you adaptive power on takedowns, when you combine that with Triumph giving you extra gold and heal on takedowns, then you get a kill in a fight, and all of a sudden you're healed back up, and you're more powerful.
Yeah.
And so it just helps like snowball games even further. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's a good little patch right before the break. Like I said, Riot kind of understands what's going on and what the issues are, but they don't want to shake the game up too much, especially when they're not going to be making any changes for a couple more weeks. So I think it's a good little patch to hopefully like even the playing field just a little bit before we get into the last patch before the LCS starts.
yeah, great. So that ends our patch 7.24 and 7.24b video. Thank you for watching, and look out for the next videos that we'll be putting out probably within the week, right?
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
1 or 2 videos during the week.
I don't even know where this is going to fall like in our list of videos.
Who knows? Just keep an eye out for it. All right.